What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Marketing Monday. Today, I sit down with the famous hashtag Bat Realtor, Jimmy McNally, one of our top agents, and we're going to talk about how to create engaging content as a real estate agent.
Make sure you smash that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and leave us some comments below and let us know how we're doing.
All right, so as promised, I'm sitting down with the infamous Bat Realtor, Jimmy McNally. He's one of our top agents. Hashtag Bat Realtor. He's one of our top agents. And I wanted to bring him in on a Marketing Monday because I hear so many times from agents all over that follow us that they love creating content or the idea of creating content, but they struggle with, where can I go with it, right? Does it have to be so serious, so professional, so real estate focused, right?
Right.
Can I have fun with it? Can I joke around, right? Where's the line? We've all seen some of those pictures of some of the showings that people have done where, there's people in lingerie. There was one recently of like 50 Shades of Grey going on, like all sorts of weird stuff, right? And so people always wonder, like, is that good? Is that bad? So Jimmy's obviously done some really great stuff with hashtag Bat Realtor. If you haven't seen that, Jonathan's gonna put the card somewhere up here, hopefully not over my face.
Maybe there or there.
Maybe somewhere over here. And so we'll run some of that, and I highly suggest following Jimmy. What's your channels?
You can follow me at Jimmy McNally on Facebook, and then it's Jimmy McNally Century 21 Realtor, and then my YouTube page is James McNally 222. So we're gonna probably mix that up a little bit, but that's where we're at right now.
So I highly suggest go and check those out. He's created some really good stuff.
Thank you.
There's been some stuff with a T-Rex in there. I may or may not have been a part of that. Can't confirm nor
Nobody
deny that.
knows.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
But the point being is Jimmy hasn't let anything hold him back. So how did this all start for you? Where did it come from? And let's dive in.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you, it's weird because when I first started into this business, obviously I wanted to make money. I wanted to be around my family and stuff like that. But I was just seeing how everybody was already doing their stuff. What posts look like. I mean, I go online and it's the same stuff. There's always listings. I'm showing this. Hey, I just had a closing. I mean, that's all good. That's all great stuff. And then on top of that, the content that I was getting from, a lot of the things were like, hey, what do you think about this bathroom? What do you think about this pool? I mean, everybody was doing the same stuff, and I'm not normal anyways. And you can ask anybody that I know. So I was just kind of trying to figure out something that was, a little bit different. I wanted to brand myself different. I'm used to just kind of going out on a limb anyways. And I ran into an agent up in Ohio, and he had some really fun content. And it all started, I saw an MLS listing and it had a T-Rex in it. That's kind of where it started. And then I got on his page and he does some really funny stuff. So I'm like, I want to take it to the next level. Let me see what we can do. And I had a listing and I said, you know what, let's just record something funny. And
yeah, why not?
I had a Batman costume. I kind of talk somewhere. It's not exactly the same thing. And I just had a blast doing it. And I mean, I tripped, my pants fell down. I mean, it was just, it was funny. But I think for me, I had a great time doing it, but then all of a sudden, I got traction. Like I started to get more people watching it, more people getting engaged. It's the most engagement I had on anything I was doing on social media.
You had thousands of views, right?
Oh yeah, it was crazy. And then all of a sudden, people are like, hey, when I'm ready to buy a house next year, what are you going to dress up as? And I'm like, okay, whatever. And so I did it a couple times, and then I did it a few more times, and then we kind of chatted. I'm like, I'm going to do something a little bit different.
Yep.
And honestly, it's been one of those things that's been a ton of fun to do. I've even got my son involved with some of it, which has been fun.
Yeah.
But it just kind of just started going that way, and I like doing it. So I mean, and I'm not scared to be in front of a camera most of the time. It might take 6 or 7 takes, but
Well, I think it's interesting too. I mean, the costume thing is intriguing because I think for some people who do struggle maybe sitting on camera like we are right now, they might actually feel more comfortable. It's funny what a mask will do.
Yeah, because
right?
they can't see. I mean, they know it's me, but
yeah,
still,
of course.
it's
but
still,
like, it's for your own mindset. It's
right.
interesting what happens. Like when someone puts on a T-Rex costume, you never know. They might start twerking by a fire. You just never know what's going to happen.
Right.
Where that probably wouldn't have happened outside of a T-Rex costume. You know what I mean? So it's interesting so if you guys, my point being, if you guys are struggling with it, maybe try thinking outside the box, you know, dress up, create your own persona, right? That's essentially what you've done.
That's exactly what I did. And I do it all in like a third person. So, I mean, obviously, hashtag Bat Realtor is not a realtor. But I always kind of do it in third person, have some fun with it. And since I've done it, I get a lot of other peers that reach out to me and say, hey, can you help me actually? Like, how can I do this? And I mean, I think you said it in many trainings that, you know, I've sat in with you, but you know, you got to find your niche and what you're comfortable doing. If you're not comfortable getting in front of a camera dressing up as Batman, then don't do it. That's fine.
Do your own
but
thing.
what makes you happy? What's fun for you? What do you get excited about every single day? How do you tie that in to your business? Because you're not just selling houses, you're selling yourself is what you're doing. And if you can figure out, you know, what that is and what gets you more comfortable, and then the more you start doing the things that you already love and you get comfortable, then all of a sudden you can start going over towards maybe something a little bit different that you wouldn't have been used to, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you got to make it your own. It's got to be authentic, because if it wasn't and you were just doing it for views, it would come through and you actually probably wouldn't get the views that you've gotten. And I think it's really important too that, to your point, if you don't enjoy it, it's going to be work, right? Like if you guys are trying to force yourself to do something that you don't enjoy, it's going to be miserable, right? And we should be doing this to build a business that makes you happy, right? And so I see so many people just do things to try and get views or try and get likes, and it's not going to work. And more importantly, you've got to create a process where if no one watched that video, right? If no, I mean, you know, obviously it was hilarious and it took off. But if no one watched it, you would have had a lot of fun.
I'd still be doing it,
right?
Yeah,
and you'd still be doing it because it was fun.
I'd still be doing it,
right?
You can see the costumes I have on. I have so many now.
I've seen a couple of them. There's good things to come, for sure. But I think that's really what you need to get to. You need to create a process and a system that allows you to create stuff that you enjoy creating, because then if it never does anything for your business, you were not going to regret doing it because you had fun in the process.
Yeah, I agree.
So obviously, thousands and thousands of people have now watched the videos. What has it done? Because I know I get this a lot. Well, that's great that people are watching, but if it doesn't actually translate to business, then who cares? So has it translated to business for you? How has that worked out? Have you gotten people like calling you to get listings from it? Like what's happening? So
it's funny because I was nervous. Needless to say, like, oh my gosh, like, because I see everything is just so, I won't say it professional. I'm not saying it's not professional what I'm doing. But you just have this mentality of what it should look like. Right. Yeah. So after I started doing that and people started reaching out, it was just like, okay, how can I take it a little bit further? You know, I started a YouTube channel, which I mean, I still need to do some work on it, but I'm just trying to load everything up that I can in there, having everything tied directly into it. And you know, it's funny because not only do I get people that want to, you know, someone, hey, I want to go buy a house. Will you dress up as the Flash? I mean, I get that. But I even have, you know, when I do a listing presentation, depending on how, you know, where they're at and how comfortable they are, I have this one listing that's coming up where, you know, the wife of the seller, she's going to dress up as Wonder Woman. Because she just loved that idea. We were just kind of talking and stuff like that. So so I have stuff like that. Almost every, I say 90% of my listings are okay with doing stuff like that. Just as long as it doesn't do anything damaging or anything on the lines of that.
Well, you can't fight crime in someone's house.
You can't fight crime in someone's house.
You got to be careful.
Yeah. And then and I mean, I've even gotten calls. So like it's funny. Last weekend I got a call from a guy in California. And he just called in. He said, "I'm going to be relocating over to Apollo Beach, is where he wanted to be."
Wow.
You know, and he was coming from the Huntington Beach area. And I said, "Well, how did you find me? I don't usually get phone calls, you know, that often unless it's from some other type of lead generation."
Right.
And he's like, "Well, I found you online, and then I found your YouTube channel, and I really liked what I saw, and I think we could really get along with that."
Yeah.
I'm like, cool. He's like, we still have some time, and so I got him all set up on some searches and communicating with him. And I mean, we still got a few months until he's really going to be, you know, in the market. But it turned. I mean, that's that's $800,000 lead I wouldn't have had.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's important to note that like you've created a system that has allowed you to create an attraction system, right? And attraction to me is brand, right? You've created your own personal brand, and that's so important in today's world. And I think a lot of agents struggle with like, how do I build my brand? Because they're trying to appeal to so many people. You're gonna have people that watch those videos that are like, no, it's stupid, he's immature, you shouldn't be doing that, right? Like real estate, I should be dressed in a suit and tie every day. And like, that's just their belief. And that's okay, right? They're never gonna call you, they're never gonna wanna do business with you, and that's perfectly okay. But then you're gonna have a whole nother population that watch that like, dude, that's hilarious, that's awesome, it's outside the box. Like if I'm selling my house, I'm hiring someone like you to do it because I know that that's going to get attention and it's going to get engagement, and that's what I want, right, as a seller. So you're going to have a whole nother group that just loves you for it. And that, to me, when they are making that decision to call you because of it, it's brand. So now I know there's agents that are going to watch this. You're going to be like, yeah, but I know he's got help, right? So obviously we've done some videos together where we have had Jonathan do it and film it more professionally and edit. But most of the stuff that you've done, and probably the stuff that's got more views, we haven't been a part of. So how have you shot that? Because you're a one-man show. Who shot it for you?
I mean, sometimes you need some help, hands down. You definitely can use, and so I've brought in family members in. I brought other agents in that aren't comfortable kind of doing, some of these things. So I figure if they're helping me, maybe they'll kind of open up a little bit more, if that makes sense. But I mean, literally, I do the majority of it on a phone.
On a phone.
I mean, I do have like technology-wise, like, I mean, I do have a nice camera that I can use that I do for certain things. Obviously tripods and some things like that. But I mean, honestly, it's all done on a phone. It's easier to me because I could do a lot of editing. I use certain apps. If I'm getting a little bit more involved, I'll end up using the computer to do some of it. But usually there's an app out there that makes it pretty seamless and easy for you to kind of get whatever content that you need.
What is that app?
Well, there's a couple. I've used, there's one called Splice. Splice was a GoPro app. It's a free app, and all these apps are free. So Splice is pretty cool. It's easy to, take, if you want to put music behind it and take away audio. It's really, really easy to use. I just started using an app called Quick. That one also is made by GoPro. It's kind of like Splice on steroids. And it has some really cool options that you can really play around with, and I think that's my favorite one right now out of the majority of them. I have some GIF makers and meme makers and stuff that I use. I mean, all that kind of stuff. Those are probably those two.
Go into the App Store too and just search, right? You're going to find, if you don't like those two, search.
There's a ton. There's a ton that are out there. I just jumped on those. They were easy. And honestly, I found them because I do tend to get a lot of, I just feel like I've been getting a lot of relocation, clients coming in. So, video is important. And I think that's one of the reasons why I get chosen is because they see that I'm, already doing these videos and they see the quality of them.
You're out there pushing yourself.
I'm already doing it. So they know that they're going to get that type of quality when I send it to them. And that's where I started using them is instead of just trying to, FaceTime someone when the technology isn't even going to work. And then you're just trying to sit there and like, how do I get them all this information? I just did 10 minutes worth of video of this house. How am I supposed to get it to them? And by using those apps, it just made it super easy. It sends them a link they can click on and watch, and it's just very it's simple on their side. That's the biggest thing for me, for my clients. It's simple on their side, make it easy for them to look at, and they're like, oh, okay, that's cool. 100%. Throw a couple things here and there just to brand myself with it too, and then go from there.
100%. So you're a busy guy. How many deals did you do last year, roughly?
I only did 15 last year.
15,
second year in the business.
Right? Now, that's double, second year in the business, right? Double the national average, actually 5 times, I think, the national average. So you're busy, right? That's a deal a month. There's a lot of agents watching that would love to be doing over a deal a month. And yet you still found the time. How often are you posting just general content?
Well, the schedule is important. So I pick one day a week, and it's usually on Thursdays in the afternoon around 1 or 2 because I don't have to get my kids on Thursdays, and I can spend the time on the computer and not get, interrupted. So I pick one day a week where I will set up from all the pictures I've taken throughout the week. If I'm, because I take pictures of every house that I go into. If it's something that I like of every house, I'm taking a picture of. If I'm going on caravans, if I'm doing showings, anything like that, whatever content I have, I take 2-3 hours on Thursday. Sometimes it's not even that long. And I basically set up for the next week to week and a half. So the majority of the stuff that I have that ends up coming out is already set up. Like my week is done, except for the stuff that I run into. And I still like, there's certain things that are important to me. So if I am going to do a live video, what time frame am I doing it? That's like a little bit more advanced. But you know, I spend a lot of time when people are looking. When am I getting the most views? When should that content actually come out? Like before I was just like, let me just throw stuff up. Like, I'm just gonna throw it up, I'm gonna set these times, and then at least I'm getting content out there. And then I add on to it throughout the week, probably 3, 4, 5 times. And now I'm going back and looking at when are they actually looking at it. So maybe I should kind of pinpoint when they're getting that content because most people are looking at it at that time.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. So, I mean, the reality is there's no excuse. There's absolutely no excuse. Jimmy is probably busier than most of you from a transaction perspective. And yet he's still finding time by scheduling it out and producing content on essentially a daily basis just by posting it, scheduling it once a week, right? So there's no excuse. If you're not doing it, it's because you don't want to do it. Something else is holding you back. So for you, I'm sure that first video, there was some anxiety. Right?
Yeah, because I did it live too. So the first one I actually was live when I did it. I wasn't just like, hey, let's do a video and practice. I said, you know what? Well, look, this is the deal. Like, I know the stuff. I can speak to it. I can speak about floors and ceilings and how a house is and I mean, whatever it is that that we all talk about when we're showing a house. So I'm like, well, I already know that. Let me just have some fun. Let's just go live. Let's just do it. What's the worst that's going to happen, right? My pants almost fell down and I tripped.
That's probably the worst that could have happened.
That was literally pretty bad.
Been painless.
That was yes, but I mean, I just did it. I just said, you know what, I'm going to do it. I want to do something, and I decided within like 2 days I was going to do it. I said, this is it. I'm just doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's powerful though because I say this a lot, but like for those of you who have struggled going and filming because you're, every time you film it, you go back, you watch it, you're like, no, my hair looks stupid. No, the filter's not bad. Like there's always some reason to delete that and try it again. Go live.
Live, you're done.
Force it.
Yes, I agree.
It will force it.
I agree.
And the organicness of it will actually help.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like the fact that like someone's gonna watch that and know that you didn't edit it. Yeah. There's no filter. Like it's raw, but it's real.
Yeah.
Will actually help, and you're gonna find that so many people respect that even more.
Oh heck yeah.
But if you're struggling, go live. It'll force the issue.
Just go live.
So
and do it on something that you enjoy, like something you enjoy. Let's say you got that listing or you got that development that you love, that you are just the go-to person to talk about. Go, maybe you love boats. Go and just start talking about boats. Just do it. Just get out there, get comfortable doing it, and then the other stuff will start kind of falling in place.
Yeah, it'll all come together at some point. So, any parting words to anyone out there that's watching this, that's an agent that's like struggling on the fence to do it? Any final parting words?
Like I said, just find something that that really interests you, that you love, and then just go out and just do something about it. Doesn't matter. Go live, do whatever it is. Just go do it. Just go. Just start. Just get up there and do it.
Yeah, I mean, here's the funny part. A lot of you are concerned about shooting content because you think no one's gonna watch it, right? And the reality is, in the beginning, they might not, right? So who cares? You screw up, that means 10 people, 100 people saw it, maybe, right? But on the flip side, you are gonna get it also maybe in front of 1,000 people, 2,000 people, for free, right? This is $0. Like we're not talking about putting money behind this. We're just talking about creating content. But at the end of the day, if you are not telling the world how great of an agent you are, or your knowledge base around anything, or how funny you are, or anything, then they don't know who you are. Like literally no one knows who you are. So if you want to grow your business, you got to tell somebody. And the easiest place to do that is creating video and then deploying that on a social network of your choice.
Don't be scared. Like people know who you are when you go in there and you're somebody different and you're trying to be someone different. I did that when I first started. I was just this totally different person, a different hairstyle. It was just like, oh yeah, like that wasn't me. And then all of a sudden everyone's like, okay, they remember a fun-loving, funny guy that screws up and whatever it is. But like you're gonna make those mistakes. It may not come out the way you want it to, but that's real.
Yep.
You know, people work with you because you're real and who you are as a person and obviously as a professional, but they want to know who you are. And so if you screw up, you do this, you do that, it doesn't matter. Like, they want to see who you are.
Well, I think that's super, super valuable because, you know, I had an agent the other day come to me who works for us, who's the youngest agent we have in the entire company. He's got piercings and tattoos, and he came to me and said, hey, you know, I'm doing a lot of video. Do you think I should take the piercings off? Right? He's got a nose ring. I said, absolutely not.
I agree.
Right? Absolutely not, because what's going to happen when you go to the listing appointment? You always going to take it out?
Yep.
Right? Like, you are who you are, and you're going to attract who you attract, and you're going to repel who you repel. You can't worry about that, right? You just have to be you, because if you're not, if you try and pretend, or you try and be someone else, or you try and watch $1 Million Listing and go spend your entire bank account on an expensive suit so that someone thinks that you've been, it's not going to work. The internet has leveled the playing field. They've exposed everyone, right?
Yep.
So they're all gonna go back and see that you drive a 1983 Honda. Like, you're not gonna fool anyone, so stop trying. Just be you. And then guess what happens? When someone actually starts to follow you and like you, it's actually you,
Yes.
right? Like, they're gonna continue to engage because they've engaged with you
the whole time. Yep.
and you and your content, and that's it,
Yep.
right? That's the name of the game. All right, guys, so that's all we have for today. Please go check out Jimmy McNally's channels. We're gonna link them in the description below, and we'll put his card, Jonathan, put it right there, or somewhere in that vicinity. So that way you guys can check out some of the content he's done. It's really good stuff. If you have any comments, questions, please put them below. And if you have not done so already, gently hit that subscribe button for us. You do not have to smash it, right, Jimmy?
Just give it a tap, tap, tap.
Just a little tap.
Yes.
All right, guys, see you next week.